Coaching is the number one thing that you as leaders can give to your people. What does a super good coach look like? The best respect you can have to people is go out to Gemba and be able to give your time. Please do not do coaching in your office. You're not trying to solve a problem. You're trying to change the mindset of the person. Remember, those two things are like essential. If there's not one first and then the other, it's like empty feedback. The level of growth your people are going to get is directly proportional to the level of your questions. Your job is to ask the good questions, right? Not giving the right answers. Once they turn around, they could be, my God, your best second coaches. They'll preach lean like you cannot believe.
Righto, team. So we're going to kick in this morning. We're a couple minutes behind. We've got a master at work, Alex Ramirez, with us this morning for this Learning Club session. We're going to be focusing in on Tom Hughes's book, Improvement Starts with I, chapter 3, where he's talking about coaching. So we're going to continue our coaching chat today. Alex is going to take us through his perspective of coaching. And we're going to spend about 10 minutes on that. After Alex shares these few nuggets of wisdom there, we're then going to go into an actual coaching session. Alex, if you want to go into the introduction of coaching in your coaching slides, that'd be awesome.
Why is it very important, the coaching in the lean mindset, in the lean journey? Because if you really look at the whole thing about coaching, the best respect you can have to people is go out to Gemba, be shoulder to shoulder, and be able to give your time. You can always replace money, but you can't replace time. And people do value that you are giving them your time. And when you give your time, you're giving your knowledge. And as Rockefeller used to say, is what is respect? It is challenging a human being to the peak of its abilities. So if you have someone that is being able to have a lot more talent, but you're not utilizing his mind and soul, you're really not respecting him because you don't believe he can go to that level. So you need to coach him to get to that level. Your main objective as a leader is really to bring that person to that level in order to succeed in life, succeed in whatever he's doing. So what is the first step? This is very simple, guys, but we sometimes don't do these simple steps. And it makes a world of difference. So I can just tell you, what I've learned through the years might not be the best thing, it might not be by the book, but I can tell you it works. You need to create a safety net. And what do I mean by that? A lot of people are in a bubble. And that bubble, you need to poke it. And the way you do that is, we learn by routines, we learn by repetition, and we learn to get out of that bubble by breaking that bubble by a repetition of creating the safety net. That's why your morning meeting, that's why you're 3S'ing, that's why your Gemba walks, all of these routines. So you need to create that safety net in order for them to open up with you. If you're just doing this from the start, it's probably not a good idea if there's no safety net. If they feel that they're going to be prosecuted when you walk in the line, chances are for them to open up to you is very little. You need to put that safety net first in order to feel comfortable to have that conversation. So now you've gained that approach with a safety net. Now he's opened up after these routines. Now you are ready to go into his shoes. You really need to find out ways to be able to have a conversation and get yourself in their shoes, in their perspective, in their eyes. It's even known that if you're able to be next to him, it's different than just facing face to face, because you're looking at the problem together versus you're looking at him in the problem. So it's very important to get in his shoes. What is he thinking? What is he going through? What issues has he have in his mind that he cannot accomplish? What does his work look like? All of these things you got to look at before you even start really a conversation. You need to get in his shoes. I'm going to go visit this person. You are in that line. You are in the Gemba, and you're trying to see if he's running all the time. He probably doesn't have time to talk. So you need to ask the question: why is he going through? What is his issues? It's very important. I can't stress this enough. Is you need to get in his shoes. You need to feel what he is feeling. in order to have that great conversation. Because if not, what are you going to coach him? Imagine you're coaching him to go faster and he is like running all over the place. Would he listen to you? Absolutely not, right? So you really need to be sensitive of what he's going through. Look at the iceberg effect. If you know very well, and you guys are more than experts on lean, you know the 5 whys and how we go in deep into the 5 whys, and do not look at the symptoms. Normally, when you go to Gemba and you start coaching someone, please do not do coaching in your office. Go wherever they're working. Go to, even if it's an office, go to their office. Go to their line. Go to the workstation. And you need to observe what's going on, like I said, and you need to look at more than the symptoms. If you look at just the symptoms, you're losing the whole picture. Normally, they're mad, they're sad, they're frustrated. Hopefully, they're happy. But you need to understand why, what's happening. If they're happy, why? Because then we need to duplicate that. It means that we can grow him to a different level if we understand he has something under control. But if he's not having that under control, we need to understand why. It could be there's leak, there's oil in the floor. Why? That's a symptom, right? The condition is there's a leak, a gasket is broken. But the root cause is different than having that. It's probably because they didn't do maintenance. Why didn't they do maintenance? You could even go 3-4 steps even upstream. So please do not look at just the symptoms. Do not get caught up on the symptoms because they're very visual. We tend to go in just to the symptoms. We need to have a conversation to go into a deeper sense of what's going on. One of your main objectives here when you're coaching, they're going to learn by doing. And by doing is nothing that the PDCA cycle. So that is, as you know, running experiments. So the role of a coach is really to support or propose some experiments. Like what could you do? How could we test this? Could we design an experiment? Could we test and see what happens? Do you think if we do this, this would happen? So you're trying to indicate experiments. You can't just go and give orders and say, do this or do that. You need to have a process where they're going to learn. Because remember, we're not there out in the Gemba to just give instructions. We're coaching. And coaching is nothing but raising his level of intellectual mindset to solve his own problems. We're not going to solve it for them. So running the experiments is so important that they are aware they need to do that, and they can manage by themselves to run experiments. 2 things. When you are doing a coaching, it's basically a feedback. I hope you guys agree. It's giving him a feedback of what you see. The first thing that you need to do when you approach someone that you're going to start coaching is find anything positive at all. It could be, hey, you're wearing your PPE. Great. I see that you're very into safety. I really appreciate that. Hey, I see how parts are coming out very good. I love your workspace. Your bench is fantastic. Your tools are in the right place. Find something to be positive about. The minute that you are entering into their zone, that's their area. You're going to their place. Remember, you're going to Gemba, and you're going to their Gemba. And so you need to enter with a good positive key, or that key will not open the door. I can guarantee you that if nothing, he'll be at 50%, if not less. But if you open with a positive, he's going to be like, this guy threw the safety net, and he's appreciating what I'm doing already about my PPE. Great, my workspace, my number of parts coming out, my cleanliness, my 3Sing, my visual management. Everything is, wow, I love that. And then gently go into the second point of feedback, which is a challenge. You can't give a feedback of something good without giving a challenge. Let me give you an example. Hey, Robert, how great it is that I see all the parts coming in great quality. And that's it. You got to add the challenge. And do you think that we could do it with a stronger blue color? Do you think we could do it with the logo? Do you think we could do it half of the time? Do you believe your workbench could be even smaller, even bigger? Whatever it is, make a challenge. The objective is not exactly topic there, is coaching to able to think differently, to solve their own problems. So remember, those two things are like essential. If there's not one first and then the other, it's like empty feedback. Oh, those parts are really fast. Okay, what do I do with that? Or even worse, if it's negative. What does a super good coach look like? It's really got to be a problem solved. He's looking at the problem and then how to solve it. If he's just giving his opinions based on his expertise or his mindset, that's not a coach. That is someone trying to solve a problem. And as a coach, you're not trying to solve a problem. You're trying to change the mindset of the person in front of you. Cause-based thinking. So again, the cause, the effect, and then go deep. It also looks at case and energy and see how much improvement is going on in that area, how much improvement that guy has in that mindset, and coaching into improving. Hey, what if we do that? Remember, the second point is how to challenge and learning and adaptation. Nothing is fixed. Everything is adapting. You can't say, oh, it's got to be like that. Your standard is like that. Well, let's change the standard. We need to adapt. We need to see how they're doing it. How is their standard? A challenge, a great feedback. All these things are positive points of a great coaching. Common coaching mistakes. And I've been there, guys. Believe me, I'm here telling you about how to coach good. It's because I have been the worst coach ever in the world. And I can tell you, I was jumping into solutions. I was the such and such expert of the group. And I thought I knew the best thing. But guess what? People in Gemba, which know their business, which are day to day doing what they have to do, which are with the challenge in front of them day to day, they have better understanding of the overall problem. You might have some techniques in place, you might have some previous experiences, but don't cut yourself short of what others are thinking, because you might miss the whole big treasure in front of you. So you really need to be in Gemba. You can't do it another place. I repeat, coaching someone in an office, it's losing 90% of the value. Everything talks to you when they're there. So don't forget to go to their location, not your location. Don't call them in to the training room. Don't call them in to your office. Go to their place and telling, not asking. Your job is to ask the good questions, right? Not giving the right answers. Get the good questions. That's what a really amazing coach does. The level of growth your people are going to get is directly proportional to the level of your questions. If you're not giving good questions, if you're giving vanilla questions that are not making him think, chances are he is not going to think. He's just going to go through the motions and do what he's doing every day. Same, everything the same. No improvement, no creativity, no innovation, no PDCA. He's not going to be doing that. You might say, well, I really don't know. I have fear of going and doing a coaching. Simple idea. Just take this to the bank. Get these questions, go out to the shop floor, go where Gemba is, be respectful, give a positive point, ask these questions. Simple as, where you're at today, what is your problematic right now? Okay, number two, where would you like to go? If you're in a bad situation today, what would a good situation would look tomorrow? What obstacles are preventing you from going to that great place? What's your next step to get to that place? Has he even thought about the next step? Maybe you need to ask more questions there. And finally, go see what you've learned. Once you run the experiments, and lean coaching is a daily habit, guys. It's not something you go and practice. You know, many are doing like Gemba walks. Oh, we need to let people know that we're going to do Gemba walks on Monday, 5 o'clock, so they're not surprised. You know why that is? Is because leaders, managers are not in the shop. So, of course, it's strange to see someone in the Gemba. If you're every day in Gemba, it's normal. They welcome you. But you do need to be able to have that as a daily habit. Coaching someone every month is not going to cut it. You need to remember, we learn by repetition. So it's not going to be once a month that you're going to really make a difference in someone's mindset. And then reflect every day, Once you walk one day, go back again. Coach, it's every day. So next day, hey, we talked about this yesterday. Bob, how was it? How are you doing? Good. Oh, great. What didn't work? Oh, it worked. Well, I wonder if it would work even better if we do this and that. What do you think? And so always reflect. Don't let that one conversation go empty. Follow up, right? That's a daily habit. And I want to leave you with this slide, which is really the core of the whole thing of coaching. Is true coaching is all about having the right answers or the right questions. So you know what it is. It's really knowing how to make the right questions. Make people think. Good coaches don't solve the problem for you. They help you learn how to solve it yourself. The great thing about this is that you don't need to know. Sometimes as managers, as bosses, as leaders, we think we need to know everything about the topic. And that is not your responsibility. Don't carry that load. It's great if you do, and if you're very technical and you have manufacturing processes, that's wonderful. That'll just help you do better questions. But your job is to make him question what is the problem, make him think and make him solve his problems by themselves. So coaching is really developing the thinking and not delivering the solutions. And I'll leave you with that.
That's a good mic drop there, Alex.
Hey there. I started this channel with one goal: to help people grow people. But here's the thing. Growth isn't a solo journey.
The best
leaders,
teams, and businesses
thrive because
they learn and grow together.
And that's what we're building here. So if that sounds like something worth being a part of, hit subscribe, because the more of us there are, the more we can invest in learning together. Let's grow together.
Thank you very much for that. I hope everyone's got plenty of questions for our Q&A time after our coaching session. Next up, we're going to throw to the crowd. We've got plenty of people online this morning that have plenty of problems in their day-to-day. Does anyone want to take up the opportunity of having a live coaching session with Alan and Alex over the next 20 minutes? I'm just asking one problem, one question, and we can just go through it as a team.
Okay, so great discussion, Alex. I really appreciate you being here. How do you overcome deeply embedded habits from guys that have been in the business for decades kind of thing? And it's like no matter what you do to engage them and help show the way and model the way, perhaps they just don't want to go on the journey. It's quite a thing here in New Zealand with tradesmen, and they have a way of doing things, and it's quite almost in an opposite way to what lean is, because they want to have the boy that empties the rubbish bin, and they want to have the typical kind of righteous entitlement behaviors that is quite a set in place, right? But lean's about humility and about respect and showing respect for the next person in the process. And so it's a massive culture change for big burly boat builder guys who have been doing this for 20 years. And now, we want them to empty their own bin, and we want them to actually keep things organized. So, look, we're only 6 months into it, but these are the kind of challenges we have with having those conversations. So what would you say to that with regards, because we're doing the Gemba walks, getting next to them, training, do a lot of training, and try not to provide all the answers, but there's some deeply ingrained habits within the business.
Well, great question, Grant. If I understand, the question is if you have someone after 6 months of a journey not willing to collaborate with a coaching session, a discussion, a talk, a exchange, right?
Not so much that. It's more their behaviours afterwards are more like passive aggressive, because they'll probably nod their heads and be, yeah, I'll do that. And then you go away, you come back the next day or even later in that shift, and they leave it like a pigsty. They haven't actually like adopted. They're kind of just going along with it, but not really fully engaged.
Right. Well, at 6 months, to be honest, you should already have people 100% engaged, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my question at that point would be, why is that person not engaging? And I would bring him to the office, private room, and have a one-to-one discussion with that person to ask the not 5 but 15 whys.
Mm-hmm.
Really get to what is bothering him, because normal is he someone that has been a long time in the company, or is it someone fairly new?
Yeah, well, there's actually a few of them, not just one, but we have got some areas, some pockets of excellence that are just flourishing. So, and we're really putting a lot of energy into those areas because they're really taking off. But the areas that are slower, and it's hard not to go, oh, come on, you need to get on board. So there must be a point where there's got to be consequences, and you coach and teach and lead the way and model the way, ask the right questions. There's got to be a point where you go, actually, otherwise it's just too fuzzy, and it can't be that way, because you've got to go, well, look, this is the journey we're on now. Either going to be on it or not, kind of thing.
That is a very hard question to answer, Grant, because when you're not in Gemba, you don't see everything. So I don't know if the guy, for example, I'll give you an example. If you start doing improvements, right? And people will start telling you, I've got this problem. The next day, I got this other problem. Hey, I told you I have this problem.
Yeah.
And the fifth time he tells you he has this problem, it's like, okay, they tell me to speak. I tell them there's a problem, and you haven't even engaged that person to say, I'm not going to fix the problem for you, but if you can help us fix it, we'll be happy to support you. This is probably what we think we can do, but if you have a better idea, we can give you. Sometimes giving the challenge to the person that is vocal, but maybe he's not vocal. So I really don't know what's happening. Whatever you're manufacturing, if he's waiting for parts or information, or he has to walk around looking for tools, it could be very legitimate. So it's easy to just say, well, this guy is old and he doesn't want to collaborate, get him out.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
I say those are the best candidates to bring him into the lean journey, because if a 10-year-old veteran is able to say, wow, I love this. This is great. What do you think is going to happen to the other people under 20 years old in the company? They're just going to follow along, because if they're able to convince this senior guy, they're going to come along. But so you really need to understand what is happening. There's nothing better, because guessing, you can guess all day long. It could be so many factors. What I can tell you that has happened to me is because they've been vocal. They said, okay, I'm going to give it a try. And they haven't had response. Some things they cannot fix. Maybe some people don't have electrical skills and they need an electrician or a welder, or they need to buy something. And maybe you can't afford to do all of those, but having a conversation with him could be one thing. Second, it's very strange. I can tell you it's like 1% of the time could be someone that is being negative and just want to put a bomb on the system. Then you need to really address those. And if he doesn't align up, then that's not the bus for him, right? But that's really strange. Really, I really don't ever go to trying to get people out of the organization just because they're being negative. They're negative for a reason. People don't wake up saying, I'm gonna make Grant his day difficult, and the company, I'm gonna drown it down the drain. It's just really something that is bothering. It could be another thing. Could be it's just a personal thing. Probably he's going through some severe things. I think 2 days ago, I had a friend who just called me up. His died. His son passed away from cancer. I couldn't even read between the lines. You know what I mean? So it could be many, many things. What I would encourage is not go through the line of, well, he's not on board, let's get him out. Because if you start treating that, you pretty soon will end up with no one. You need to understand what's happening. And if you're able to, little by little, each one of those turn around, what's bothering you? Oh, well, I've tried to do that. Hey, could you speak up in the morning meeting? I'll give you the word. Sometimes putting them in front of the situation helps calm the waters. If they're vocal about something, hey, I think you're right. You got a point. Let's talk about it. Be candid. Let's do that in our morning meeting. That's why we have that routine, that kata in place. And then he'll just let it out. Maybe you can't fix it right away, but at least he'll let it out. And so it really, what I would recommend you more than anything is bring him in. It's been 6 months. Bring him in. Tell him, this is why we're doing lean. It's good for you, good for your families, good for the company, good for the community. We don't see why not doing it. Can you explain us why you think it's not good or why you believe this is hard on you? What can we do better? What's missing here? Now, do you have others that are really into it and they're really rock and rolling? Okay.
Yeah.
So you have good examples. So say, okay, Joe Blow is doing great. What would it take for us to get you where Joe Blow is, as happy as he is? Because we want you to be successful. And that's on us, the leaders. What does it take? Either we bring him on board and help him, or if he's negative, we get him out. But that's the last resort. I repeat, that's not where we want to be. That's not a lean mindset, right? Because we know by statistics, everyone has had the same thing, is very small number of people are negative. And some that were negative, when they see what this is really about, they change completely. And they could be your best allies. Once they turn around, they could be, my God, your best second coaches. They'll preach lean like you cannot believe.
Alex, can I suggest we maybe do a role play so we can take the scenario with Grant and he can be the coach, and then if somebody else wants to put up their hand to be the frustrated employee, then we can do just a 5-minute session, and then Alex can give his perspective on that. How does that sound?
Absolutely, yes.
Let's do that. So does anybody want to be the disgruntled old employee?
I'm happy to.
Okay, Abraham's going to give it. Okay, Grant?
We employ engineers that have been doing things for 20 years, so I know about this.
All right, Grant, so do you want to go? The scenario is you're in the Gemba, you're walking up to him, you can see Abraham is one of your 20-year-old employees and he's frustrated. Go into that situation, take what you've learned from Alex, come in with some positivity, some feedback, and then get into questions to delve deeper into what is the root cause. All right? We'll give you 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, go for it.
Hi, Abraham. How's it going? Looks like you're doing a great job in your area. I really like how you've got your tools organised and on the tool board.
Yeah, good. Thanks, Grant. Appreciate that. Yeah, I make sure I hang them up.
Yeah, no, that's excellent. You're making some progress there. And so how are you finding the changes that are going on at the moment for you in terms of, organising the area and, do you know why we're doing it and this way and what the changes mean for you?
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously lots going on. I've just try to stick to my work, get the job done, do what I've always done. At the end of the day, we just need to get the product done, and that's all that matters, really.
Right on. And so, how you've organised that tool board, like you've done that. Do you know, why do you think that's important, and why do you think that's going to help in the future for you?
Yeah, I guess some people struggle to keep track of their stuff and where they put it, and things go missing. So that means that you can quickly see what's there and what's not there. So
yeah. Right. No, that's good. So
Because you understand why.
Yeah.
More than just.
So tell me some frustrations. Tell me a bit more about what's been on your mind and what's been bugging you.
Yeah, well, I guess to be honest, I think some of this lean business is a little bit over the top.
Right.
Like having to empty my own rubbish bin. I mean, I've been doing this for 15 years. I'm a skilled professional, and Tim over there, he's only 18. I don't understand why he can't run by and empty the bins for me. I mean, I got important work to be doing.
Yeah, that's fair enough, and that's how it's always been done. But if you think about it, it's not just the emptying the rubbish bin. We're thinking about the next person, and really being organised and keeping a high standards helps us. With really improving everything, for you as well, and reducing your frustrations. So, what kind of, like, when you say you're really not enjoying that, can you tell me a bit about why that is? Like, what's really on your mind there? About, you mentioned the rubbish bins. What kind of, why is it really getting to you?
Well, I guess I've been here 10 years now, and I've never had to do that before. And now, I'm spending 5 minutes a day not doing the specialised work I'm used to empty a rubbish bin. I mean, it just seems a bit pedantic. What's in it for me?
Yeah. I think what's in it for you is really the whole thing behind it, because it'll reduce your frustration and really, in the long run, your job will become better. But you've got to feel it and see it. And really, it's about respect. So if you have respect for the customer and also the next person down the line, then you'll keep your area good, and you'll raise your standards along with the rest of the team.
So how does emptying my bin show respect to the customer?
That's a great question. Well, look. It's about not leaving a mess for the next guy. None of us are too big to sweep the sheds. I tidy up after myself. I don't have a cleaner, and that's because I don't want to just leave my rubbish for someone else to look after. So we do that because it's about respect at the end of the day, and it does actually end up to the customer, because if we look after our environment, it follows through in our quality and how we do things.
I guess I've never really thought about that before. So what you're saying is it's not so much about emptying the rubbish. It's the principle of the example we're setting. Yeah.
It's not about we're not trying to just do that so we can save on the cost of someone emptying the rubbish. It's actually about really looking after your area and taking total ownership of it. And by doing that, it really means that, you're taking the area to the next level, and the pride, and also means when anyone turns up, they can come into your area. A customer can come in without anyone knowing or being told in advance, and it's at a high level, it's at a high standard, and you'll be much, so much prouder of it if you take those extra steps to make it, to that standard.
Yeah, I guess that's something I haven't thought about before. You've given me lots to think about, Grant. Thanks.
Okay, we'll cut it there. That's the 5 minutes. All right, Alex, do you want to give some feedback there?
Sure. You want me to feedback, or you want me to interview Abraham?
Okay. No, actually, that's a really good question. Can you do that now? You do Coach Abraham.
Sure.
Okay. Same situation.
Hi, Abraham. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good, Alex. How are you?
Hey, I see you have Dr. Pepper there and Coca-Cola. Which one you like the best?
Coca-Cola.
Oh, man, I love it. And with ice, isn't that true? Drinking with a lot of ice, isn't that like really refreshing?
It's nice on a hot day, but there's a bit of snow around here, so we don't have too much ice.
Well, maybe you can put some snow, but don't put any rum on there, all right?
Certainly not.
Tell me, what's going on? What's going on in your area over here? I'm kind of the new guy in town, and I have no idea, but what's happening in your area? Everything cool?
Yeah, just working, trying to get the job done, get the products made, and get our customers' boat ready to get off the yard.
So, Abraham, tell me, just between you and me, what is freaking bugging you in this area? What is a pain in the ass to get your job? Because you are doing a fantastic job, by the way. You're senior guy. You're doing your job like everybody, respects you. Everybody knows that you really know how to do the job with precision. The questions are coming to you, Abraham, every time when everybody has a problem, go ask Abraham. So how could we make that work easy for you? What is the pain in the ass in your area? I would really like to know, because we need to make this a better place.
Yeah, I just think recently, there's been a lot of changes going on, and some of them just seem a bit silly. I just think it's a bit unrealistic to, have skilled professionals having to run around and empty bins. That's what we've got apprentices for. I mean, we've been doing that for the last 10 years, and now, all of a sudden somebody's walked in and talking about this lean business, and I got to go about emptying rubbish in a bin where I could be doing my work.
But Abraham, let me tell you, I know it looks a little silly, but let me tell you what's behind it. It's the message. Like, I'm emptying the bins, right? I'm the manager of this place, and it doesn't bother me at all. You know why? Is the message is I want to know everyone that we're all in the same boat, and if one person sinks, we all sink with it. It's the same boat. We might not have the same responsibilities, but Abraham, I want to make sure the message is across is that we're all in the same team, and we're going to make each other successful. And I want you to be successful. I want you to do your job in a better way, with less stress, with less struggle, So I cannot do that if I don't understand what it is. So now, if it bothers you to do some things like that, I would just challenge you to say, what is it that you like to improve in your area? And let's attack that. I'm here all 100% for you. Let's stop all the cleaning, but let's focus on your improvement in your area. Could we do that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind doing improvements that make sense, but, emptying the bin, I just struggle to get my head around.
So let's leave the bin, but let's put 1, 2, and 3 of the things that bug you in your area. How about that? Could you give me 3 things that bug you?
Yeah, I mean, some of this, our welder doesn't always work the best. Sometimes I got to reset it when I'm in the middle of working. Sometimes I have people walk past my workbench and they take my tools because they can't find theirs. And like I'm in the middle of something, I got to stop and fix my welder every day because something that just cuts out, and I got to reset it. And then a little bit down the road, I go to grab my hammer and it's just gone.
And why is that? Well, at first, sorry, but I wasn't even aware that your welder wasn't working. That must be a pain in the ass, dude. Going every time there and kicking it with a hammer, it would frustrate the craps out of me, if you ask me. But so I'm not an expert in welder, but I'm wondering if you know how to fix it. Do you know how to fix it, and what do you need for that?
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, it's coming out 12 years old. I think we just need a new one.
All right. Well, what I can propose you, let's get someone to check it, maybe the supplier, and see if they could at least give it a shot to at least keep it running, and so you're not struggling right away. And let's look into what would that look like. Let's see if it doesn't have any fix, we might have to replace it. Maybe you're right. But let's go through the right process to try to fix it first, and then we will see. Now, for the tools, that's not respectful. People taking your tools, we'll have to address that in the morning meeting, because what you do is very valuable, and you having to lose time, I mean, it's just nonsense of a highly skilled level person running around finding for a hammer. That doesn't make any sense. Let's address that in the morning meeting together, and we'll find a solution. One thing that comes to my mind is, are they visible so we could see at the end of the shift to make sure that all of the tools are there, or we stop the whole plant and look for the tools? What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah. Hey, dude, we're on this together, all right? All right, dude. See you tomorrow in the morning meeting. Take care.
Do I have to empty my bin tomorrow?
All right, Dr. Pepper. I'll challenge you. It's better than Coca-Cola. You see? The key here, guys, I just want you to take something, is I connected with Abraham. I was all focused to connecting with him. Then he spilled out the beans what his problem was. If I cannot connect with people, I'm not able to help them because they don't listen. They're already fed up. Abram was fed up because, you know, he was giving all these excuses to Grant, but his real problem was not against Grant. It's nothing personal. His problem was deeper than that. It was people not respecting his area and his old machine not working accordingly, right? You could see right away, I want a new one. Well, okay, let's not say, you know, it's always, everybody wants new equipment and new everything, but offering to, hey, let's try to fix it right away so you're not struggling. That's, we need to get the struggle out. And so first is connection. I understand his position, where he's coming from, and then propose him how to solve it. I can't walk away from Abram's place without him knowing I'm going to do something about it. So I told him tomorrow, he knows it's 8 o'clock in the morning meeting, you and me, we will talk. It's not like he left. When am I going to get some maintenance guy to come? They don't even know the problem. They've been visiting him and they don't know the problem, right? So his frustration is going up and up and up and up, and to a point that is like, you all. So it's not Abram the problem. The problem is there's not respect in the equipment. Probably we have probably a bad maintenance organization, but probably as companies I've managed, they didn't even have maintenance. It's the supervisor that knew how to do this or that, or so let's try to fix the problem a little bit. I know this is a little bit of a setup. It's not realistic and it's far away from Gemba. But if I would have seen the machine, I'd probably say, hey, Abraham, show me what is it that's not working. And probably something very easy, or already I could see that the machine is like, wow, what's happening? Is there any TPM system to maintain that equipment, right? Is there any routine, any standard to keep that equipment in place? His tools, they're lost. Does he have the tools? What condition of tools does he have? Are they hidden somewhere in a toolbox, or are they visual? I mean, how is the supervisor supposed to know if his tools are there or not if they're not visually and with some triggers to know that something is missing immediately? So you see how Gemba is really important, is to detect what's going on. Your eyes should read immediately the situation before you even ask the question. But I connected. The Coca-Cola thing was just, I just made it up, right, of course, but it's just a way to connect. It's hey, did you go fishing? Did you see the fish out on the pond last weekend? You know, whatever, the football game. Hey, how is your family? How are the kids? And then the more you know the place, the more you know what everybody likes or knows, and family and names. Connecting, guys, connecting.
I think also for me, like the difference there between Grant and yourself was Grant was telling a little bit more and you were asking more. And that is the key, because we tend to always want to give people the information, where it's just coming up with questions, right? Grant, like it was difficult, like what should I ask? How should I ask? And I think this is important also to kind of role play beforehand and try have some generic questions like Alex put out, like, okay, what's the current state versus what it actually should be? Or, you know, what's the problems having me? So having those just 3 questions that's in your pocket that you can pull out anytime, that you know you can, okay, go with that. So you have a question to go to straight away. So it gets them asking a question, because when Abraham started asking questions, he started having the control of the conversation. So the person who asks the questions controls the conversation.
This is something I've battled with for a few years, not just because we employ highly skilled professionals, but obviously somebody, you know, twice my age doesn't want to hear why we should be doing lean and stuff like that. And I asked somebody once, you know, how do you do this? And they told me, if the student hasn't learnt, the teacher hasn't taught. And I went away for a long time thinking about this. And I came across this principle, which I believe is a lean principle, called people support what they help create. And from them, we've fundamentally installed something like Grant gave the example of, you know, a skilled guy who doesn't think he should be emptying his own bin, which is a good, relatable example in New Zealand. So one thing we do is if we know somebody's struggling with something, we actually give them the responsibility to maintain that amongst the whole team. So a tool that I would do in that situation, if it occurred in our business, would actually say, hey, John, you're really respected amongst the team, and obviously you're skilled in your trade. I was wondering how you'd feel about running a little segment in tomorrow's morning meeting explaining why we're now emptying our own bins. A lot of people might be confused about that. It feels a little pedantic when you have such a skilled person just throwing rubbish out, but there is a deep reason why it's important and why we're doing that. What do you think about sharing that with the team? Because I know it would mean a lot coming from you. And now they've got the responsibility where they're running it in the meeting. They're being told you're respected, and we want your respect to be the thing that presents this. And they now feel elevated where actually I've been given the responsibility to talk about this. And well, because you're on the Gemba, that actually they struggle the most with this. But when you give them that responsibility to coach the rest of the team, who may not even have as big a problem with it, the mindset shift is massive. We've seen guys completely change who were really against a certain idea, completely come on board because we actually did the complete opposite thing you'd think, to make them responsible for helping the rest of the team come on board. It was just a thought I thought I would share.
Well, the other thing also, Abraham, you're totally right on that, is getting them participating on that. I imagine your scenario when we were doing the makeup is that you were fed up, right? So if I force you to go and clean your trash instead of, okay, what is your problem? Let's fix your problem before you can empty your bin, before you can go and do the restroom, because you're at a point that you're frustrated already. And so for me to force you to say, you got to go clean the bin, no discussions, very authoritarian, it would have killed you completely, and you probably said, even be more frustrated. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. And when somebody is frustrated, like you said, it's a good opportunity to completely, change the paradigm and say, you know what, if you're frustrated, a lot of other people probably are too. We should talk about that, and then it's a good way to leverage the responsibility onto them to help others. Because I could understand why that's frustrating, and I could understand why that seems weird, because it's not what we usually do. So I agree. You certainly don't want to force it or stir the pot. You can't force lean. That's not how it works. Yeah, it's a very good point, Alex.
Anyone else got one last question before we close out?
Yeah, my takeaway is listen to Alex. Is just that actions speak louder than words. So he said, hey, I own the place. I'm doing the bin. If you're not actually partaking in what you're trying to implement, I think it's my biggest problem is that I didn't spend enough time sorting myself out first before I started trying to get the other guys to empty their bins. Then I didn't say with confidence, hey man, I own the space, I'm cleaning the bins. What makes that?
100% agree. 100% agree, Bill. It refers to me. I remember I sent Paul a message about 12 months ago now, and I was frustrated with people not being adopted with lean. And his message back to me was, James, what are you doing? How are you making your work lean? How are you living by the principles you're trying to get other people to live by? He's like, don't worry about everyone else. Focus on you. And then once they start seeing you, they'll start asking questions. And the other part, Phil, I was thinking about during this was Mr. Yamazawa and in the Japan study mission made it very clear to us, even when he was the president of Toyota and had all the power of this whole plant, he would still go out in the factory every day and he would never tell people what they needed to fix. He would always ask them what was bugging them and work on that with them. Well, team, I've got to go. Alex, Edwin, do you want to just close out now?
Yeah.
Yep, cool.
Appreciate it. Thanks, James.
Yeah, I don't mind. We can close up there or do another one, but I think Grant's one was a really good and common one that we all struggle with. Those people who have been in the shop. Grant, I think you bought the business. Probably these people have been there since before you owned it, and you've come in and implementing lean, and that's going to be a hard thing to do with these salty old sea dogs that you've probably got working there. So I've been in that industry a lot myself. Obviously, I'm a boat builder too, and so I know exactly what you're dealing with. And you change the people, And there will be people that will upset the apple cart. And if you've got a bad egg in there, they'll affect a lot of people around them. And if you do manage to shift them sideways or whatever you do, get them on board, you'll see that whole area really take off because they'll be holding everyone else around them back. So I think just be really careful of that with your guys. Those older guys have a lot of influence, and if you can change one of them, it might be the difference between that whole department getting it and or not.
We've definitely seen that. We've had exactly that, where one area has just taken off, and that's because we've got a couple of really experienced guys that have just seen it and come on.
Yeah.
And I talking about it's not quite like that, and it's a bit tricky over Zoom call to kind of get next to someone, and like we do every day, about, you do that naturally, talking about fishing, the rest of it, you don't just go straight into it. So
the other thing that I'd say is like if emptying a rubbish bins is a big thing. Like we had a company come through for a tour the other day, and some of their guys flat out refused to clean bathrooms. And if you just get a roster board set up and everyone in the company, you, your wife, every manager, the apprentice, all gets a turn at doing it, then it just stamps that out completely. And that's what we do at our company. We have a roster board for doing the bins. Someone walks around, everyone does it. We're all flat. We're all the same. So that's a good way to implement it. And it stops these awkward conversations, because if they're not prepared to do what everyone else is prepared to do, then there's something really deep, fundamental with them that you kind of need to get to the bottom of, or change the people. But yeah, hope that helps.
Great advice, Alan. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, Alex, any final words from you? Any final words of wisdom?
Coaching is the number one thing, guys, that you as leaders can give to your people. It's the best time of investment you can dedicate is just go out there and have a conversation, ask questions, and challenge respectfully. That makes people grow. I thought that respect I was confusing that with good manners, Manners is, good morning, open the door, hello. These kind of manners that they show us at home. But really what I found out is that if you're not challenging your people, that is lack of respect, because you don't believe they're able to do that. So challenge to the level that they want, that they deserve. Doesn't mean overkill them, but don't forget to challenge and coach your people. It's the best thing you can do in your organization.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. I really struggled with the concept of teaching, training, and coaching. And that's why I made this video, to explain and understand why it's so important. I've also got some free resources there for you to download and help you on your journey. Thanks again, and see you at the next Learning Club.